People are hoping for some answers. Audrey Russo, though, is tracking the very latest.
Yeah, we're going to check in with her in just a minute. But first, let's bring in John with a look at your forecast here. And John, today is going to be a pretty nice one.
Yeah, today's going to be a great day. Hopefully you can enjoy. The weather will be in the upper 40s by the afternoon. Temperatures this morning extremely comfortable. I'm out here just enjoying this light coat weather. And that will change by the time we get to next week. But enjoy it while we have it. 30 degrees out here. We have a south wind that just got kicked in. It's not that strong, but it has been important. So winds only at 3 miles per hour. It doesn't seem like much, but you see this little area of wind. It's actually the warm front. So if you're calm like it is in Brainerd, it's going to be a lot cooler there. 17, 30, and 35. And you can really see that that wind actually initiates that temperature. It drives that temperature up, and that will all move north. Now, Brainerd, it's not going to be as warm there today because, of course, you guys still have a couple of inches of snow on the ground. 42 and 45. We don't have snow here in the metro, and then especially don't have snow south of the metro. Gorgeous day today. What I like so much about today is the light winds. Now we're going to take a look at that active weekend forecast coming up in a bit. Cece?
Good morning. You should be able to enjoy your commute into work today because it's still very quiet. The only thing I've really seen is a traffic incident on 394 and the Penn area as you're headed into downtown Minneapolis or 94. Also, I was seeing a traffic incident on Highway 100 southbound a few minutes ago, but that's cleared. So things are clearing pretty quickly. I do want to tell you, though, that there is some slight frost around the metro, like I've been saying every day. So just add a couple of minutes to that. Over the next hour, I'll be doing tours around the metro. So stick around for that. Alicia.
Cece, thank you. Back to that big breaking news out of D.C. this morning. Rescuers are in a race against time to try and find plane crash survivors from the icy Potomac River.
Yeah, that flight went down about 10 hours ago after crashing with a military helicopter just minutes before it was supposed to land at Ronald Reagan National. So new images overnight give us our first look at the wreckage. The plane now in pieces in the water. In the last few hours, we've learned some members of the U.S. figure skating team were aboard the plane, as well as 2 Russian skaters. Our Audrey Russo is in studio tracking the latest developments from what could be the worst U.S. commercial aviation disaster in years. Audrey.
Yeah, Jason, Alicia, you can see this is a live look from Washington, D.C. right now. You can see those boats. The sun is up. Hopefully that light aiding in their search. We know a press conference is expected in less than 30 minutes. And just in the last 10 minutes, we've got a new update. We now know that more than 30 bodies have been recovered from the Potomac. No survivors reported yet at this time. And that's all according to our local NBC station in D.C. And we know 64 people were on the plane. And as you mentioned, some of those passengers were part of the U.S. figure skating team. Athletes, coaches, and family members were on their way back from a development camp and a championship in Wichita. They describe the crash as an unspeakable tragedy. That is from U.S. figure skating. We know at least 4 people from Minnesota are listed on the official U.S. figure skating team website, but the organization has not yet identified the team members who were on that plane. Now, American Airlines has set up a hotline for families to call for more information. Many families rushed to the scene of the search and rescue, trying to learn whatever information they could get.
I'm just praying that somebody's pulling her out of the river right now. She texted me that they were landing in 20 minutes. The rest of my text did not get delivered.
Just a gut-wrenching situation for all of the families. Now, we're going to be monitoring this closely throughout the rest of our show. I'll have another update in about 15 minutes, but for now, Jason, Alicia, I'll send things back to you.
Just tragic, and then it just keeps getting worse. 30 recoveries. All right, Audrey, thanks for that. We've been tracking flights impacts here at home out of MSP. Right now, 3 arrivals from D.C. have been canceled. 2 Delta flights scheduled for this morning and 1 American Airlines flight for the afternoon. And 2 departures to D.C. have also been canceled. An American Airlines flight supposed to leave here in about 30 minutes, another for this afternoon. With Reagan National closed until at least 10 Central Time this morning, more disruptions are expected. And we, of course, will monitor the story as it develops throughout the morning and day. So stick with us on Sunrise and on our streaming show from 8 to 9 on KARE 11 Plus.
Time now 6:05. More of your headlines and confusion this morning over the Trump administration's memo to freeze federal funding. The White House has now rescinded that memo less than 24 hours after it was issued. So let's break down what happened here. On Tuesday, the Trump administration said it would freeze trillions in federal grants and loans for a wide range of programs. That order then got blocked by a judge. But the White House now says it's just the memo that was rescinded, not the order, and that it's continuing with a review of federal spending. Now, this is all putting budgets in limbo for organizations here at home that rely on that federal money. Raya Katene shares how they're preparing.
It seems there are more questions than answers this morning after the White House rescinded its memo directing a pause of federal funds. The Trump administration said it was freezing trillions of dollars in grants and loans for a wide range of programs, but that directive was then blocked by a judge. And now the White House says just the memo was rescinded, not the order, and it is continuing its review of federal spending. This is all leaving many Twin Cities programs and nonprofits who rely on federal money in limbo. The Minnesota Association of Community Health Centers says $45 million, or 20% of its annual budget, comes from federal money. These centers provide comprehensive and affordable health services to roughly 170,000 people across the state. If they're unable to get federal funds, even temporarily, the CEO says facilities would begin shutting down within days.
An update this morning on a crash that nearly killed a Hopkins teen last spring. The Minneapolis man charged in the crash will spend the next 3 years on probation, despite a long history of driving violations. Mohammed Salad was driving 90 miles an hour on the shoulder of Highway 7 in Minnetonka when he ran a red light and smashed into Lauren Olson's car. Lauren, who was just a block away from her home, was in a coma for 2 weeks and in the hospital for 2 months. She recovered and was able to walk into court for Salad's sentence, where her father addressed the court.
It is my opinion that he will simply grab a set of keys off a kitchen counter and take a car for a joyride. There's nothing preventing him from doing that, except his own conscience.
Salad gets credit for the jail time he served over the last several months. Sentencing laws in Minnesota prevented the judge from giving him any prison time. Lauren spoke with us off of camera, saying that she's hopeful that he takes this opportunity to change.
A Minneapolis homeless shelter is now set to close. This comes just months after a 7-figure grant to try to save and renovate the Agate shelter split city leaders. The city of Minneapolis confirmed the homeless shelter told them it won't be moving forward with planned renovations. The deteriorating building was slated to close last fall, but the city council voted to fund the renovation so they could stay open. The city now keeping the $1.5 million.
We have new details coming in about the inclusive poster series the Lakeville School Board voted to take down this week. The district superintendent says the posters will stay up for now. In a letter to staff and families, the superintendent says there will be new messages coming promoting inclusivity and academic excellence. The superintendent also said in the letter he wants students to know, quote, "You belong here."
Well, time now 6:09, and over the next 11 hours, we could see record warmth as highs return to the 40s.
It's going to be pretty great. A lot of folks will be heading outside and on the ice, and the DNR, though, has some important reminders. Michelle Beck is joining us from Lake Minnetonka this morning with those reminders. Hey, Michelle.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Jason, Alicia. Pretty clear warning out here on Echo Bay. Thin ice. Now, I was just talking to a guy who not only lives here, but works here at the marina, and he points us to that direction, far down that way toward the island. He says there is a car partly submerged under the ice. And actually, you can see the photo here now. This is a photo posted from the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office. That guy from the marina confirmed this was the same car that's here right now. It really is terrifying to imagine this very scenario here on Echo Bay. Officials stress ice is never 100% safe, but on days like this, when it's warmer out, the weak spots on ice will get even weaker. Snow could add to that problem when it melts on top of lakes.
We've had better ice than we have in the last couple years. And so people have been very excited to get out and just going out on ice that might not be thick enough. So, we recommend 13 to 17 inches for a truck.
Yeah, and by the way, she says the ice should not only be 13 to 17 inches thick at least. That ice, she says, should also be super clear. And so, this winter, according to the employee from the arena, it has been so weird, he says. And so coming up in the next 30 minutes, we'll talk more about the concern that are pressure ridges, including how to avoid them. Jason, Alicia.